She told me to sell the one thing I loved purely for her friend's approval, so I sold the marriage instead. That was the distilled poison of my 5-year marriage to Chloe's 34F. It wasn't about love, shared values, or mutual respect. It was about optics. It was about how our life looked to her small, vicious circle of high-maintenance friends who acted as the personal board of directors for Chloe's self-esteem. I'm Jakey's a 35 I made. I earn good money as an architect, which paid for our nice house, her luxury wardrobe, and her memberships to various exclusive clubs. I provided the stability, she provided the social ambition. The only thing in my life that didn't fit or curated, pastel-filtered aesthetic was my car, a beautiful, deep green 1985 Porsche 911 Carrera. It wasn't a wreck, it was meticulously maintained, fully paid off, and represented the culmination of my teenage dreams. It wasn't just metal, it was my sanctuary, my hobby, and the only part of my identity Chloe hadn't managed to sanitize. To me, it was a classic. To Chloe, it was an embarrassment. The conflict started mildly, but escalated quickly, precisely because the car was a symbol of my independence. "It just looks old, Jake," she'd complain, pinching her nose as she walked past it in the driveway. "We can afford a new Tesla. Why are you clinging to that rusty old thing?" "It's not rusty, it's vintage," I'd counter calmly. "And it's paid off. The money we save not having a car payment is why you can afford that new bag." She hated that logic. She hated anything that wasn't shiny, new, and immediately understandable by her friends. The public humiliation, the demand came during one of Chloe's infamous weekend brunches. She always hosted them, partially because our house was the nicest, and partially because she could control the environment. Her core group, Vanessa, the status climber, and Taylor, the cynical one, were present along with 4 other nodding accessories. I came inside after finishing some yard work, dusty but smiling. The conversation immediately stopped. Vanessa smirked, looking pointedly out the window at the green Porsche. "Taylor, remind me again, is that the car you said looks like it should have a Velvet Elvis painting hanging in it?" Taylor snorted. "It's sweet, Chloe, but honestly, it screams mid-life crisis before the midlife. When are you making him upgrade?" Chloe's eyes narrowed, her social standing suddenly on the line. She turned to me, not asking, but declaring, "My wife screamed, sell your car. My friends said it's embarrassing." She was screaming the words with her eyes, demanding loyalty through public compliance. It wasn't about the car, it was about demonstrating her control over me to her board of directors. The moment was silent, waiting for my capitulation. I looked at the Porsche out the window, its beautiful, uncompromising lines, and then at Chloe's contorted, desperate face. "It's not for sale," I said, my voice steady and quiet. "It's mine, and I like it." Chloe slapped the marble countertop, making the champagne flutes jump. "You're pathetic! You always choose that thing over me! You choose your cheap, embarrassing hobby over my social life! If you love me, you'll sell it!" "I'm serious, Jake." I picked up an unused napkin, wiped a speck of dust off the counter, and met her enraged glare. I replied, "So is this divorce?" The silence was the second most satisfying silence of the day. The first being the click of the shutter on my phone as I took a clear picture of Chloe's furious, exposed face. The immediate fallout calm in the storm, Chloe's friends immediately scattered, sensing a disaster that was too large and real to be solved by expensive handbags. Vanessa mumbled something about parking meters and Taylor awkwardly excused herself. Chloe was left alone, sputtering, "Divorce? Over a car? You psycho!" "No, Chloe," I said, walking to the home office. "Over the lack of respect that allows you to demand I erase my identity for the approval of shallow acquaintances. Over the fact that you equate love with control. The car was just the final symptom. The marriage is the disease." I didn't argue further. I had already made the only 2 calls that mattered to my lawyer and to the bank. The financial investigation, the hidden scheme. My divorce lawyer, Laura, specialized in rapid, clean asset division. She listened to the story and immediately asked the crucial question. Why was she so desperate for you to sell it now? That question led to a chilling discovery. The 911 was fully paid off, but because Chloe's name was on the title as an administrative necessity, when we first registered it, she had legal standing to interact with the asset. I logged into our shared digital accounts. Accounts I had kept loosely monitored because I trusted her. And found the receipts. Chloe hadn't just wanted me to sell the Porsche, she had a plan. Trade, in valuation. She had obtained a high trade, in valuation for the Porsche from a luxury SUV dealership. Loan application. She had secretly applied for a 40,000 personal loan, using the Porsche's equity as collateral, implied trade in value, without my knowledge. The target, the money, was to be used as the down payment for a new 120,000 Mercedes G-Wagon, the ultimate status symbol her friend Vanessa had just bought. The scheme was simple. She wanted the Porsche gone because she was going to use its value to buy herself a status car, leverage my credit for the loan, and then present me with the fait accompli.
"We'll have a new car, honey. Your old embarrassing one is gone."
She wasn't demanding I sell the car for my benefit, she was demanding I sell it for her financial gain and social climbing, using a combination of public humiliation and financial fraud. The realization hit me, I wasn't just dealing with a shallow wife, I was dealing with a financial saboteur who was using my personal property and credit to fund her status obsession. The pre-emptive strike, securing the asset, my lawyer, Laura, moved instantly. "Jake, because you have the physical asset and the evidence of the fraudulent loan application, we can stop this immediately. We need to secure the car title and file for emergency financial injunction." First, I went to the state DMV with all my original purchase documents and proof of payment. I filed a legal challenge on the title, citing attempted fraudulent sale loan against an asset purchased solely by me. It froze the car's status. Chloe could no longer legally trade it, sell it, or use it as collateral. Second, I drained our joint savings, leaving only $500 for emergencies, and transferred the vast majority of my assets into a new, private account I controlled. I then returned to the house, avoiding Chloe, and left a printout of the loan application and the DMV hold notice on the kitchen table, along with a sealed envelope DIVORC some MOs. I drove the Porsche straight to a secure, private, climate-controlled storage unit hours away. I didn't tell her where it was. I didn't need to. I had deprived her of the asset she was trying to weaponize. The battle for the car was over. The battle for the marriage was just beginning. The moment Chloe saw the divorce summons and the evidence of her loan application being blocked, the strategic meltdown began. She didn't call a lawyer. She called the police and her friends. The hysteria and illegal denial. Chloe filed a police report claiming I had stolen her car, the one she claimed was embarrassing, and emptied the joint accounts. The police officer who arrived was bored, saw the divorce summons, and told her it was a civil matter. Then came the text from her friends, now officially back in the drama. "Vanessa, Jake, you have to bring the car back! Chloe is hysterical! You can't just steal her property! Taylor, dude, you're ruining her life! She needs that car for her job!" I replied to none of them. I only communicated through my lawyer. Chloe's lawyer, a sharp, aggressive man named Ken, immediately filed a motion for emergency asset retrieval, demanding the car be returned to the marital home. Laura, my lawyer, was ready. She presented the evidence of financial fraud, the loan application using the Porsche's equity for a luxury SUV, and the social media demands to sell it for status. "Your Honor," Laura argued, Mems, Chloe's last name, has demonstrated clear intent to commit marital waste and financial misappropriation by attempting to leverage a joint, titled asset bought solely with Mr. A. my last name's funds for a speculative, high-interest personal luxury purchase. The car's removal was necessary to protect the asset and prevent fraud. The plaintiff's claim that the car is embarrassing contradicts her desperate attempts to leverage its high value. The judge, seeing the clear evidence of the G-Wagon loan application, denied the emergency retrieval. The Porsche stayed in the climate-controlled silence. The revenge, the public auction, this wasn't enough. I didn't just want to keep the car. I wanted Chloe and her friends to fully realize the actual monetary value of the asset they had tried to dismiss as embarrassing and cheap. I decided on the ultimate revenge. I would sell the Porsche, but not quietly. I would sell it at a prestigious, public classic car auction. The 1985 911 Carrera, being a desirable vintage model in pristine condition, was a perfect candidate. I hired a specialist broker who valued the car between $95,000 and $110, a massive sum, far exceeding the $40,000 loan Chloe had tried to secure against it. Chloe and her friends, constantly searching for drama, caught wind of the auction. The story of the embarrassing car, now being featured at a high-end auction house, was a humiliation in their status-obsessed world. On the day of the auction I didn't attend, but Chloe did. She and her friends dressed up, intending to watch the car quietly sell for the low end, perhaps still trying to salvage some dignity. Instead, they watched a bidding war erupt. The car was rare, clean, and desirable. The hammer finally dropped at the $112,000. The auction house wired the funds directly to my new, private account. The embarrassing car had sold for nearly 3 times the value Chloe thought she could get for it in a trade-in. The financial reckoning. When it came time to divide the marital assets, Chloe was facing disaster. The car proceeds. The judge ruled that, because the car was purchased solely with my pre-marital funds and its preservation was only due to my actions, the $112,000 sale price was placed into a separate asset division pool, primarily awarded to me. The marital debt, Chloe's aggressive consumer spending, shoes, bags, Clubs had left a significant amount of credit card debt, which the judge noted was not shared marital debt, but individual marital waste. She was ordered to pay the full amount from her portion of the remaining assets. The G-Wagon loan, her attempted fraudulent loan application, was used as evidence of her fiscal irresponsibility, further minimizing her claim on my retirement and investment accounts. Chloe walked away with a fraction of what she expected, buried under her own debt, and with the official label of financial saboteur attached to her divorce documents. The quiet reflection and the final word I saw Chloe one last time, when she came to retrieve her last boxes. She was alone. Vanessa and Taylor were nowhere to be found. They had moved on to newer, richer circles, having determined Chloe was now a liability. "You took everything," she whispered, her voice raw, "over a stupid car." "I didn't take everything, Chloe," I said, leaning in, calm and collected. "I took back my value. You judged my car for $40,000 worth of status. The market judged it at $100,000, $12,000 worth of appreciation. Your friends weren't embarrassed by my car. They were embarrassed by your inaccurate appraisal of wealth. When you demanded I sell my car, you demanded I sell my independence. I sold the thing that cost me the most, this marriage." She left without another word. The road to freedom, with the $112,000, I didn't buy a new Tesla. I bought a small plot of land outside the city and began designing a weekend retreat. A project that was entirely mine, built on the foundations of my independence. The most important part of the story is the realization: when a partner attempts to make you destroy the things you love, your hobbies, your career, your property, to satisfy their social ego, they are attempting to destroy your identity. The lesson is simple: never let someone else's status anxiety dictate your self-worth. If your wife screams, "Sell your car because my friends think it's embarrassing," you must reply with the clean, undeniable paperwork of divorce. Because the car wasn't the problem. The embarrassment was the marriage itself, and the auction proved that sometimes the things people try to shame you for are the most valuable assets you own.